Okay, in this video I'm looking at section 3.1.1 of the GCSE Computer Science spec and specifically at constants and variables, and we're looking to be able to describe the difference between a constant and a variable. Okay, so constants and variables, they both store data in computer programs. The idea is that they both have identifiers, so a name that can be used to refer back to the data at another point. So for example, we might have a constant called cost, and that would be set to $5.99, and if that was a constant, it would never change its value throughout the computer program. On the other hand, I might have a variable, so such as age. The first time I kind of declare or initialize age in my program, it might be set to 0, but then later on, at some point in the code, it might change. So for example, if the user has to input the age. So this is a bit tricky because this is something that hasn't actually come up in the past papers so far. So just looking through, it's hard to find an example in some of the algorithms that they've given us of where a constant might be used. If you have a look in this algorithm, you could argue that the data here, passengers, because that doesn't actually change its value, so this list, that could be perceived as a constant. But this is definitely something that might come up in the 2016 exam. So in some circumstances, to show something as a constant, in pseudocode you might have this word const, but I haven't seen that in AQA's algorithms, but what you generally do is, if a variable is determined a constant, then the variable name is in capital letters. So if we were to have a look at an algorithm, it might be something like this. So I might have something called upper, and we might have something like while, so I have something like number is 7, so while number is less than upper, and something might happen, so not print, I'm going to look at output number times 2, end while. Okay, so this is an example of an algorithm that uses a constant, a value that doesn't change, and also a variable. So the idea now is my variable hasn't actually changed, but what I'm going to do is number is number plus 1. So I'm incrementing number. Number is the variable that's changing, upper stays the same, upper is the constant. So just to show you the difference, if I were to implement the same algorithm now in Python, this would look something like this. So Python doesn't actually have constants built in, but when a programmer is using a constant in Python, the variable name is just in uppercase. So upper is 50, number is 7, and while number is less than upper, number, so I'm using the shorthand way of increment, so this is the same as number equals number plus 1, and number times 2. So in this algorithm, all it will do is it's going to loop until the value of number is greater than upper. Each time the loop goes round, greater than or equal to, that would stop the loop. So until number reaches that point, sorry, I've just made a mistake, that needs to be upper in capital letters. So number adds 1 each time the loop goes round, and all the loop is doing is printing whatever number is at that point doubled. So if I run it, I should see that in action. Just call it algorithm. Okay, so what that does is it went from 7 up to the constant, which is 50, and you see here this is called a pre-increment. So because I incremented the number before it was printed, number actually got to 8, so therefore my first output was 16. The last value outputted by the algorithm was 100, and this is because number is incremented one last time after being 49. It gets to 50, doubles it, prints 100, but then because number is now equal to upper, this evaluates to false, so the loop stops. So in essence, the difference between a constant and a variable, a constant stores a value that doesn't change in a program, whereas a variable stores a value that does change.